Town Talk Radio Productions brings you this edition of the Town Talk Show, where you'll get information and insight on what's happening all across Terry County, including city, county and school news, civic events, people of interest, and much, much more. And now, here's Town Talk.
Good morning. Welcome to the Town Talk Show. I'm Danessa Churchwell, and I am here with Gloria Gonzalez and Jimmy Moore and Samantha Turley, and they are going to be talking about the Children's Home of Lubbock and I believe a fundraiser they have coming up. And so first we are going to hear from some of our sponsors, so we will be right back.
Forward march to the next generation and a brand new age. To the future and the future of tough. Introducing the all-new Ford F-150, the first and only pickup with a high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy body, up to 700 pounds lighter, so it can haul more than any half-ton pickup on the planet. Over 100 patents, so you can work even smarter, and every single square millimeter tougher, towing the most of any half-ton pickup. With the muscle to move the world and the brains to change it. This is the all-new Ford F-150, the future of tough.
Go by Stanley Ford Lincoln, located at 1708 Lubbock Road in Brownfield, or call 637-7541. Stanley Ford Lincoln, you're just a short drive from big savings.
Hey, let me finish this text, okay? I'm good. If you're like me in the morning, you're busy. Sorry, I had to shave. And brush my teeth. Like I said, busy. That was a nice shower. But one thing you should never be too busy for in the morning, okay, pal, fetch, is a real breakfast at McDonald's. All right, now we gotta run, literally. Training for a marathon.
Make a busy morning better with a real breakfast, like a classic Egg McMuffin sandwich, crispy golden hash browns, and a freshly brewed McCafe coffee.
Hello, can't talk now, I'm busy. Yep, doing a jingle. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Welcome back to the Town Talk Show. Once again, we are here with Gloria Gonzalez and Samantha Turley and Jimmy Moore. And I'll just let y'all introduce yourselves and tell us what you do and how you're involved with the Children's Home.
Sure. My name is Gloria Gonzalez, and I am on the board of directors at the Children's Home, actually serving my third term, and feel very honored to do so.
I'm Samantha Turley. I work for the Children's Home of Lubbock as the Public Relations Coordinator, and I've been there for almost a year.
Okay.
And I'm Jimmy Moore, President and CEO of the Children's Home of Lubbock, in my 7th month, so I'm the rookie on this committee today.
Okay, and so how did you get to be president?
Well, they ran out of options. No, seriously, I knew that a good friend of mine, Lynn Harms, and I had worked at the home previously, so knew a lot about it, served on the board just like Gloria has, and got a call to see if I had any interest in it. And, of course, anything that's dealing with kids is something that interests and sparks me, so that's kind of how it got started.
Okay. And you're only, I can't remember, I didn't write down you haven't had many presidents.
No.
Correct. So what number are you?
I'm number 4.
Okay. Over how many years do you know?
Man, over 63 years. So,
wow.
Yeah, the pressure's on.
Yeah.
That's why we got a young one. He's got to last a long time.
Wow. Yeah, no pressure at all.
No pressure.
So what does that involve for you being president?
Well, just to oversee our day-to-day operations, as far as fundraising, like we're here to talk about today, just making sure that things stay afloat and are running. Also, with all the legislation that comes back and forth from the state back to the local government. So all those things, and some, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And Samantha, what does your job entail?
I always tell people that I tell the stories of the Children's Home.
Okay.
I'm the story keeper, and I just want to help share different things that go on and the different stories our children have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what about you, Gloria?
I have the opportunity to support both the staff and the administration, along with some other amazing board of directors. And I think the thing that all of us have in common is just the passion for the children that we work for. And, Samantha is so gifted in her world. Jimmy is so gifted in his world. But the bottom line is everybody has to share that heart for the kids that we serve. So that's exciting and fun to be able to do that. And it's a lot of hard work because we know that the job is tireless, and we wish we could be out of business and not have to have a children's home. But the reality is that we do. And so for that, we want to rally and recruit the absolute best people and support the home. So.
Okay. And so for some of our listeners that maybe don't know what exactly the children's home is, can one of you kind of go over that and just explain what it is, what is it there for, what does it do?
Well, years ago, it was basically just, I would put it this way, as an orphanage. It has developed into different facets over the years, and one of the things I could say is that, whenever you're dealing with kids who are going through abuse, neglect, no matter if that's sexual abuse or physical abuse, we are there to take those kids. We do partnership with CPS, so we do take in some of those kids that come through their avenues, but at the same time, we do take private placements as well. So any kid that is, I would say, parentless or been taken away from their family because of those situations, we bring them into our facility. We try to bring a little piece of heaven down to earth, as I always say, because that's a tough deal for them, trying to continue to develop, no matter if it's physically, mentally, spiritually. We're trying to take care of all those needs for them. So we're really providing them with a two-parent home, which we call our cottages. They may have anywhere from 6 up to 10 kids that they live with, and that's including the parents' kids as well. So we just try to give them, try to fill that void that they didn't have or lacking coming into our facility. And that means taking them to school. That means feeding them on a day-to-day basis, providing clothes for them. And most importantly, as I say, is providing that spiritual nourishment.
And so what age range of kids do y'all take?
Babies now up to 22 years of age. Okay. We have a new program that we just started.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And when did you start that?
That program will officially get kicked off next month, but we were granted the contract through the state about 2 months ago. And that's what we call the supervised independent living. And so those kids who are actually graduating, I would say, from the home and kind of getting out on their own, they hadn't been exposed to what we call the real world. So we're going to try to pamper them along in some ways, have a soft place to fall if they fail, by providing them housing, food, transportation to a job or to school. So it's really what we would view as when our parents let us go to college, we just took off and we went down the road and we took care of business. These kids do not have that type of structure, so we want to make sure that we can support them.
And how do you support these kids? Is it, you've got to have some kind of an income or money coming from somewhere. So how does that work?
That's why we're here today. Unfortunately, one of these days I think the state will figure out that these kids belong to us. At this point in time, if we're on a contract with the state, it doesn't pay for everything that those kids need. It only pays a certain amount. We don't say we're going to build a road at 70%. Right. Nobody's going to fall for that. But when it comes to kids, sometimes the state say, well, we'll support them up to about 70%, whatever that falls under. So what we have to do at the Children's Home of Lubbock is we got to get out and rally our community. We have to find ways to come up with funds, and that's why we're here today to talk about one of the events that we have that's upcoming as a fundraiser and try to get as many people involved as we possibly can.
Okay. And you said families kind of take these kids in. Can you go over, explain that a little bit, how that works as well?
I can. Of course, we have different programs. We have what we call emergency shelter. When kids first get to campus, we put them in an emergency shelter, and that's basically for them to get a health screening and any type of other screenings that we need in order to place them in the proper environment. The parents that we have on campus, they go through background checks with the state. We need to make sure that they're at least over the age of 21, that they've been married for 2 years. So there's some things that they have to make sure that they fulfill. Once that takes place, we try to, especially if it's a sibling group, and I'm recalling Brownfield right away because I know there was a sibling group about 10 here recently. Yeah. We want to keep them together. We don't want those kids to be separated. So we have to make sure to fit them with the best house parents or the house parents at that time that can fulfill those needs. So once that happens, it's a day-to-day operation as far as supper time, as far as if they want a job outside of campus, if they want to work on the farm. We do have a farm. We have a recreational center. And so with all those things being said, the reason why we're here today is because we have to keep everything flowing. And as far as buildings, as far as food coming to the table, which we will probably talk about that in a little bit, just kind of how that works. But all in all, it would be no different if a kid went off to camp one summer. But the difference is we place them with house parents.
Okay. And so what kind of a fundraiser are y'all planning that's coming up?
I'll let Samantha start off with it.
We are doing a special evening with Philadelphia Eagle and America's Got Talent finalist John Dornbos. And for anyone who hasn't seen the show, John does magic. He's really impressive, but he has a background that's very similar to our kids. He went through the system as well, and his aunt ended up adopting him and raising him, and so he just kind of has that heart for children, and a lot of his work is focused on so he can help women who have been battered and help children who are in the foster care system as well. But our evening, we're having a dinner, and then we'll have music, and then John's going to perform, and it's going to be a great evening, and we're going to hear about the children's home and be entertained.
And so how is the public going to be involved in this?
They get the opportunity to be involved in different levels. If individuals or couples wish to purchase a ticket, then they're in just for a fun evening. It'd be a great date night on a Friday evening because it's inspirational, and then the magic show is very entertaining. And so if you go online or YouTube and watch some of his magic, it's very fun. And he also has, he's comedic, and so he's really funny. And so when he was on America's Got Talent, Howie Mandel recognized him and said, "Don't you play for the NFL, like currently?" And he said, "Well, the NFL stands for not for long." And so he has this really fun edge. And magic was his way of just kind of getting away from all of the trauma and the hard stuff it was his place to be happy, and it continues to be. And so he loves to share that and connect with the audience. And so it's definitely an evening that anybody who wishes to participate in will have a lot of fun. Samantha and I and a few other ladies got to do the taste testing for our dinner, and it promises to be pretty delicious and hearty too. West Texas people like hearty dinners, and so it's not going to be a spinach leaf rolled up with a little. It's going to be a delicious dinner, and just a lot of fun and very inspirational.
Okay, and so how do they buy tickets for the event?
Well, they can either call me. The Children's Home number is 806-762-0481, and I'm extension 213. And again, my name is Samantha. Or they can go to our website at childshome.org and purchase tickets there. They have different payment methods. I know some people have been using PayPal, so it's pretty friendly. But
and then if anybody is interested in beyond individual tickets, there's always an opportunity to sponsor at a table level. And so it would be great if a business or an individual would like to purchase a half a table or an entire table, invite some friends. Lubbock is 35 minutes down the road, and it promises to be a great evening. So if you didn't get away for spring break and have a little fun, then you can just head down the road and do that. There's also other sponsorship levels. Allstate's Fence and Supply is our big sponsor, is our corporate sponsor, and we're excited and proud to have them be a part, but there's still other levels of sponsorship, and just there's lots of different benefits that come from those sponsorship levels as well.
Okay. And all of those proceeds do go towards the Children's Home of Lubbock, correct?
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was getting ready to say, and all the dollars go toward the kids. And it's really toward the kids. You know, one of the things that we had in previous years was a contract or a subsidy with the state for lunch. And it was about $85,000. But the problem with that is we had to hire people to make sure to take care of the red tape and the paperwork. It was not very productive for us on our end, or was not anything that we could actually say, let's continue to do this, because the money just wasn't going toward where it needed to go, and that was toward food for the kids. So we did have to stop that contract, and of course this year we were fortunate enough to make up for it. And so we know this is going to be a year by year thing that we're going to have to make sure that we provide. And so 100% of every dollar goes towards the kids, and that's what's so great about working at the home. It's kids first. Matter of fact, I've got a little saying that I say all the time: if you come to me, it better be about kids. If it doesn't have anything to do about kids, you better find another avenue. So we love what we do. We appreciate, and we've had some very good success of kids coming out of the home and being what we call productive citizens and starting a legacy for their own families.
And we'll actually have a silent auction there as well, with artwork made by our kids. And that people will be able to participate in, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. I've seen some of the works that they've done, and it's pretty impressive, really.
It is very impressive. We got a sneak peek yesterday, and I already have my eye on 3 items. So I would love to have a bidding war with anybody, because it's done by the kids, and one of the most impressive ones was done by a kindergartner.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
It was really, really cool. Just some fall trees and some grass with the finger prints and stuff. It's very, very neat. So that's exciting too. And the artwork is definitely something that you can, the sizes we considered, what size of art piece would you love to hang up in your office or in your home or in a guest room somewhere special. And so they would accent any wall, any office, any place, and be a very special thing. And the kids know that that their artwork is going for this cause, and that makes them very proud and excited to be a part of that.
Will any of the kids be at the event?
Yes, they will be. That was one of the things that we've talked about in the past, that we can't exploit the kids, but there are some kids who can come out and be a part of it, and I think that's a wonderful thing, is to have, just have a face to what we're providing funds for. One thing I wanted to add too, Brownfield has been very, very good to us over the years. I can think for sure of Brownfield Church of Christ being one of them for sure. We would love other churches to join in as well. But we know that, I sign letters every day for those donors who send in their funds or whatever they have, maybe extra clothes or things that they are no longer using. And we have quite a good support base here in Brownfield. If not, we wouldn't be here. So I want to thank the city of Brownfield for all that they do in the surrounding area, because we know we couldn't do it if it wasn't for that extra help.
Okay. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will find out more. Maybe even we can find out how other ways we can donate if you're not able to attend this event. So stay with us.
Get on down to your local Kubota dealer today, where the deals have never been hotter on new Kubota tractors. You can get low payments for up to 84 months with 0% APR, incredible customer instant rebates, and a 6-year limited powertrain warranty on new BX, B, L, and MX tractors. There have never, ever been deals like these. Now through December 31st, 2016. Call toll-free 1-800-794-4992 for details about costs and terms. For complete warranty details, see Kubota.com or your authorized Kubota dealer.
When you leave this life, how will you be remembered? The legacy you leave will not be measured in dollars and cents or by years lived, but rather by what you accomplished with your life. The measure of our life is not its duration, but its donation. We are here to help your family when you lose a family member. Ratliff Funeral Home in Seminole, Denver City, Seagraves, and Brownfield. We're here for you.
Are you tired of stopped-up sinks and cold showers? We can rescue you at Rescue Plumbing. Cody Churchwell has over 20 years of experience in the plumbing business and provides quality work at a reasonable price. So whether you need installation or a complete bathroom remodel, call Rescue Plumbing at 806-891-9617 and get a free estimate today. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at Rescue Plumbing LLC. Rescue Plumbing, ready to come to your rescue anytime, any place.
Welcome back to the Town Talk Show. We have been talking to Samantha and Jimmy and Gloria from the Children's Home of Lubbock, talking about an event they have coming up as a fundraiser. But I guess let's see. You said that there's other ways you can donate as well. So if one of you wants to talk about what is needed and how we can get those things to you.
One thing we know that's coming up is foster care redesign throughout the state of Texas. And as far as you're out here in West Texas and different counties, it's going to be tougher and tougher. We've got kids that are out on the streets now that we know we want to capture. With that being said, we know we need foster parents. That is one thing that we do out there, as well as adoptions. So, a lot of people don't look at that as ways to help, but it really is. And if you're not a foster parent or you're not adopting, we need respite care. We need those people who are fostering an adoption to have somewhere they can take their kids if they want time away. So there's ways to help there. The other thing I mentioned earlier was the food. With us cutting back or knocking out of the subsidy for food, canned food drives. A lot of schools and churches are now doing things as far as, I would say, drives or volunteer work in the community that we didn't have growing up. And it looks good on your resume, by the way, kiddos, if you're out there. I know you are because it's spring break. But, if you can sponsor a food drive of a certain, even if it's a certain item, if it's green beans or if it's corn or things like that we could use out there. Some of the clothing that people look at and say, well, I'm not going to use this anymore. And, we live in a world now that we don't know what third world is. And so we're not saying we're third world, but there's some things that are in pretty good shape as far as clothing that we get rid of on a day-to-day basis that we could probably use. We never know when we're going to have an influx of infants come through. So diapers, Pampers, I could just keep going with those kind of things. And then toiletries in itself. You bring in kiddos who are growing up and they want to smell good when they go to school and they want to look good when they go to school. So some of those things are awesome too. We want them to feel the best that they can. And if we feel like we can provide those basic needs, then we're well on our way. And then, of course, the event that's coming up, a lot of that's going to go toward helping us. Some people don't realize they have old cars in their that still work that they no longer use. Well, when these kids leave, they need transportation. And so what we try to do is make sure they go out and get a job, and we could actually have them a vehicle that's ready for them when we feel like they're mature enough to take on that responsibility. So, man, I could go on all day. It would be all those special needs that you would have if you're a parent with your kiddos. Right. And just imagine that times anywhere from 75 to more on our campus. Wow. So when we're trying to provide all those things, unfortunately, we don't miss out on providing, but sometimes we have to be very creative of what we can divvy out at what time. But we're going to make sure we take care of those basic needs to start off.
And those needs are year-round.
Yes.
And so if there's ever a drive or an opportunity or an organization that has some things, it's not a problem for us to drive to Brownfield or wherever to pick those things up. At the same time, I know that we love having people come out to the children's home and see the campus and get to see just how it's run. It's a special place, and so again, we can pick those things up, or they could be delivered, and we can definitely set up a tour.
Yeah. So if you ever want to set up a tour or just need directions on how to find us, you can call me at 806-762-0481, and I'm extension 213. And again, my name is Samantha.
Our marketing person.
Okay. Is there any stories that y'all want to share today? We have a few minutes left.
I tell stories all the time, and I have to share this one a little bit. You know, John.
They have to be true.
Yeah, they're true.
Okay.
John Dornbos is coming in, as we've mentioned, and his story is very similar to my story. You know, I think I have a passion for kids because kind of what I went through myself, and I know basic needs are so important. People look at me today and go, there's no way that you didn't have this, you didn't have that. But I was in the same boat. You know, my mom killed my dad when I was age 4, and his dad killed his mom at age 12. So we have similar stories. But also, as kids come through, we want them to know that you don't have to carry on that type of legacy with your family. Mm-hmm. We have to break the cycle somewhere. So we try to surround them with all the support that they need. We do have a counseling center on campus as well, in order for them to know that there's a way out. We do not have to repeat this cycle. I'm fortunate enough to have been a house parent in the early 90s. Let's not tell my age. But all those kids are now in their 30s. And when I reach out to those kids, and of course not all are success stories, but there's a majority of them that are success stories. And I was able to read off quite a few letters a while back at Broadway at a service one Sunday. But the more I read those stories, I realized that our jobs here on earth is to fulfill what Christ has called us to do. Mm-hmm. And that's to take care of the widows and the orphans. Yes. And that's James 1:27. Mm-hmm. And as long as we're taking care of that, there's no more pure religion out there than that. And we know there's a need. Mm-hmm. And so when I look back on those kids and I hear the stories, you know, we've got people out there who are dentists, who are doctors, who are lawyers, and they wouldn't have had that opportunity if they had been placed with us at just the right time. Mm-hmm. And so we can celebrate in that, and knowing that they are now having their families and they're showing their families what it is to be brought up in what we would deem as normal, because they didn't have it. And so when I get those calls about, hey, here's your grandkid, or hey, Dad, and my kids look at me funny because they're like, you have other children? Yes, I do. I have quite a few out there. And so those stories always are there at the forefront. But today, unfortunately, like Gloria alluded to earlier, I wish we didn't have this job. I wish there was a day when we were worked out of this job and everybody was taking care of their own. But unfortunately, we're not seeing that happen. Right now, we're seeing an increase of number in foster care. That's why it's on the top of the agenda at the Capitol as we speak. We're seeing an increased number of kids who are maybe being mistreated. We're seeing even sex trafficking, and that's probably our next big wave that we're going to see. Is I believe we're getting ready to see the opportunity to go capture those kids who are out there involved in those type of activities, and they're going to have to place them somewhere. And so we're going to have to provide our staff those opportunities as well. But the stories could continue. At the same time, I talk about those stories. We do have people who have been adopted, who have been in foster care, who are now working with us. And so they're giving back to society in that realm. So those are some of the pretty neat things to see, is when we live life, as we call it, in a full circle. Right. And we have been able to model to kids in order for them to model to their families, and then come back and model to strangers. And that's what we've been called to do.
Right. Wow. Well, go over one last time, date, time, how they can get a hold of you guys for this event, or to donate time, money, things, whatever is needed.
Well, More Than Magic, an inspirational evening with John Dornbos, is the event that we're having, and it's on April 7th, that's a Friday, at 6:30 p.m. at the MCM Elegante Hotel in Lubbock. And if you want more information about that, or want to order tickets, if you want to call me, my number is 806-762-0481, and I am extension 213. Or if you want to order tickets, you can go to our website at childshome.org, and you'll see John's face right there, and you can click on that. And feel free to call as well if you want to volunteer. We have volunteers come out, and sometimes it's, hey, we want to help host a gym on Saturday mornings and, you know, play with the kids. Or it's, maybe I'm not a kid person, but I want to help because these are children. That's who we need to take care of. And you can help and clean or organize a food drive. Or if you're a local business wants to host a night and all the proceeds go to our kids, you know, you're welcome to do that as well. And again, my number is 806-762-0481, and I'm extension 213.
And her name is Samantha.
Okay. Thank y'all for being with us this morning.
Oh, thank you.
I've really enjoyed having y'all on, and definitely want to encourage our listeners to get involved and help and do what you can do. Do your part. And you can't just pass it on to someone else. We all need to do what we can do. And so whether it just be giving or monetary or time, whatever it is, I encourage you to do that. But again, thank you for being on this morning. We appreciate it, and look forward to having you guys back again.
Awesome. Thank you.
This was Danessa Churchwell on the Town Talk Show, and thank you to our listeners and our sponsors for doing what you do to support us. I hope you have a great day today.
You've been listening to The Town Talk Show, a broadcast of Town Talk Radio Productions. If you would like to comment on our show or promote your civic or church event, or if you have an idea for an interesting story, give us a call at 806-637-0030 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, or you can drop us a line at info@towntalkradio.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day.